Hello and welcome to the Womb Centered Healing Podcast. I'm Sama Morningstar, and today I want to talk about the healing process to move between domination styles and ways of relating towards partnership ways of relating. And these terms and this way of looking at our world and our human species and our ways of relating are inspired by and come from my readings of Riane Eisler's work, starting with, I highly recommend The Chalice and the Blade, one of Riane Eisler's very important and revolutionary books, which looks at the archaeological evidence for our ancient history of a partnership model of relating between men and women and between each other as humans in general, and a partnership model with the natural world and with our bodies, and between masculine and feminine energies, and in our process of reproduction and romantic love and all of the aspects of life. There's much archaeological evidence that she describes through great study in this book that indicates that for many, many, many thousands of years in pre-written history times, or early history times, that we did indeed have a human society based on partnership as opposed to domination, and that at a certain point uh, in our history, it's very clear through the archaeological evidence that domination methods of relating um, became the norm, and that suddenly there was more war and there were battles for control and domination, and the evidence of reverence for the feminine that was prevalent in the prior times, in the pre-domination times, in the partnership times, uh, included all of these ancient goddess statues and statues made of the feminine form, revering the feminine form, and symbologies of the feminine reproductive capacities. And all of this was depicted in the art. And in the art and sculptures and paintings, there were also lots of depictions of harmonious relating, primarily, more so than warlike or domination based depictions. And that corresponding, and that changed, and human beings started um, killing each other and dominating the feminine, and then the evidence of that feminine reverence diminished as these warlike societies gained power over. Uh, and as she very clearly articulates how societies and cultures that maintained that partnership model between men and women and reverence for the feminine were violently subjugated and dominated by the society, the sections of human society that were adopting this domination model. And she talks about how throughout history there have been resurgences of groups of people that try to develop into and evolve back into this partnership model of relating, and that they have been redominated, if you will, from time, throughout history. There have been this cycle of resurgence of people longing for and trying to create this partnership model once again in their lives, and then the domination culture dominating that and eliminating that once again. And she also talks about how right now in our modern culture, we're having one of the greatest resurgences of this partnership model of relating, and that it's really inevitable because the domination model is very unhealthy for human evolution. It's very unhealthy for the planet, for the environment. It's unhealthy for our reproductive health. It's unhealthy in a ton of ways, having warlike and domination-based cultures. People are unhappy, people are sick, people are, dying from all different symptoms. People are really struggling. The domination-based economy that we have that doesn't value caring for each other is causing all kinds of problems all over the world, um, and doesn't satisfy anybody's human development needs anywhere, even the dominators. And so she talks about how this, and I really feel that this movement, this re-evolution, this remembering of the partnership model of relating and of creative societal development. She even talks about the domination model as um, civilization interruption. Like there were all these things that were happening with the partnership model of civilization development, including the development of agriculture and writing and language and education, and all of these things were developing. And then the when the domination models, the warlike, the power over models came in, those developments were interrupted and taken into different directions. And so we still have developed some so-called civilization developments, industrialization and agriculture, but all from this domination way of doing it, which ultimately it is not civilizing, but actually makes things very unstable and unsustainable, because it's not how things work best. In nature, there needs to be a balance of energies and a harmony and an ecology where all aspects of an ecosystem are caring for each other, and there's a give and a take, and like that. And so relearning and remembering this partnership way is important for all aspects of our lives to improve. And so I am very inspired by reading um, Riane Eisler's work and my own reflections and meditations on this, and wanted to come on the podcast and begin talking about this. This will be a series of podcasts that I bring this up because I talk about it a lot. You may have heard me mentioning it in other podcasts. And today I want to start with talking about how we might have internalized and been indoctrinated by this domination model of relating to ourselves and our bodies. Okay. And I work with this a lot with my massage clients and my womb-centered healing clients, because this domination model is so intrinsically ingrained in our society at this point that we often see our bodies, our physical bodies, and especially our wombs if we're of female gender, and certainly of any gender, our genitalia, as something that we are to dominate with our mind. And we have common terms like mind over matter. We're dominating our bodies. We're deciding what we want to do, how we want to use our bodies as a tool, and dominating our bodies with our minds. And so I just want you to take a moment and reflect if in any way this might be true for you. If there's any way that you have decided that you would like your body to be a certain way or give you certain sensations, and have attempted to uh, dominate or change or control if your body control your body in some way if it's not giving you the desired sensations, experiences, or abilities that you would like to be able to have. And this is very prevalent in ways people talk, how the way we talk about our bodies. Often my massage clients come in and they say, "Oh, I've got a bad back," or "I've got bad knees." And I say, "Well, I don't always get into this with clients, but what I want to say most of the time, and if they're receptive to a little bit of reflection and reframing, I'll say, what makes your back or your knees bad?" And they'll say, "Oh, well, they hurt, or they're not, it's not as strong as I would like it to be. Um, it's in pain all the time. I can't do this or that thing that I want to do because it hurts and it's injured," or something like that. And I say, "Well, so it's bad because it doesn't do what you want it to do." Yeah. And I say, "Well, why doesn't it do what you want it to do?" "Well, it hurts." "Why does it hurt?" "Well, I don't know." "Okay, so let's explore that." "Well, either it hurts because you have been working it really hard without adequate rest and recuperation. It hurts because our lifestyle is set up that we're in fight and flight mode all the time, and our muscles forget how to relax, and they're doing their best to take care of us, to respond to the situation, respond to the circumstances. But being in fight and flight mode all the time because we're under stress, our muscles are tightening up and doing what they can to cope and never really get to completely relax and often adhere to each other, which impedes the free flowing and gliding of muscles opposite of each other that need to be working in opposition. And so if they're adhered, they can't do their job properly, but they have to adhere because they have to fortify themselves. And so all of these underlying reasons why it hurts are actually really good things that our bodies are trying to do for us. Stay strong under prolonged stress and be ready to run under prolonged stress, even at the expense of structural integrity. And our body's being very good at doing what we want it to do. It's just we're not very good at remembering to rest and at taking care of our body and making sure it has the rest and relaxation and support and proper nutrients that it needs. And proper care, oftentimes it hurts because we fell and didn't necessarily get the proper, get healing that might have been needed after a fall or an injury of some sort. We didn't have um, enough healing time, and we just got back in to keep going, even though it didn't heal all the way. And so, as we start to look at why something hurts in our body, why it's not functioning and doing everything we want it to do, and then we're calling it bad on top of that, we start to realize, oh, wait a second, our body's not bad. The knee isn't bad. The knees aren't bad. They're tired. They might be tired. They might be overworked. They might be under strain and stress, and they might be injured and not getting the adequate care and recovery that they need. They might be undernourished. They might be struggling in a system, in a whole system that's not supporting them to function properly. And so as we shift that idea that our body should just do what we want it to do and not require any care, to this idea that, oh, our physical body has certain needs, it works a certain way, and it needs certain things. And it's up to us to give our body what it needs so that our body can then give us and do for us what we want it to do. That's more of a partnership model. Whereas the other model of saying, give me what I want and I don't have to give you anything, that's a domination model. That's an enslavement of the body model. And so I just wanted to illustrate how deeply we can have internalized this domination model and invite listeners to imagine what it might be like, where in your life with yourself are you expressing or living an internalized domination model. The same is true with the womb. I talked with um, women all the time who are wanting to have a baby, for example. And they've gone to the doctor and tried all kinds of therapies and treatments and procedures to make their womb conceive and hold a child. But the truth is, if they look at why their womb isn't able to do that, if we really look at the signs and signals of a struggling womb and of the overall health imbalances that those signs and signals and symptoms are indicating, as the womb being a central part of a whole body system. And if we look at, okay, so there's a hormonal imbalance perhaps. Why is there a hormonal imbalance? There's probably something going on with the liver. The liver processes the hormones. And if the liver can't process the hormones, then the endocrine system doesn't understand which hormones it needs, because there's still too many of the hormones still in the blood because the liver's not able to process it out of the blood. And that's just one aspect of it. And then, there could be fatigue from chronic stress. And so too much bleeding too frequently, and anemia. There could be chronic and residual infections from too much dampness, because with the stagnation, the fluids don't circulate freely through the body. And so then dampness can build up. And, there's the stagnation of the liver, the fluids, the blood is very common from that muscular tension that I was talking about, with being in fight and flight mode, feeling like we have to defend ourselves, not being revered or honored as women in this domination system, in this system of suppression and oppression of feminine power. Our whole body is designed to contract and protect our womb when it feels under attack or not supported. And so that's a big part. Living in a society like that is a big part of this stagnation. And so as I talk about this with women, say, who want to have a baby and are trying to forcefully dominate the womb and make it conceive and carry a child to term, when it can't do it on its own because the health of the whole being is so compromised by all of these imbalances that it doesn't feel safe to carry a baby to term, that there would be some health imbalance or something that just is not wise to carry a baby with that degree of health or emotional imbalance. And when I start to spell this out to women who are trying to make their womb give them a baby, and they start to look at their lives, it's like, then the question comes, okay, is it your womb that is not willing to make a baby, or are there aspects of your life that are not prepared, that are where you're not nourished and supported and ready to have a baby? And how can you create a fertile nest and be a partner with your womb and listen to your womb wisdom that's saying, you know what, having a baby is not the right thing right now? And really listen and communicate with that partner instead of dominating and forcing it to do what we want. So, just some questions, and I invite you to just take a few moments to imagine what might change inside of you if you started to adopt a partnership approach to your body, with your womb, with your health, and between all of the different aspects of yourself, your feminine qualities, your masculine qualities, the feminine activities in your life, the masculine activities in your life. Just start to imagine what it would be like if just within your own self, you started to identify and shift away from these domination approaches towards partnership. So I'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to me at wombcenteredhealing.com and let me know any reflections you're having on this and anything this podcast is inspiring you to reflect upon. And thank you so much for listening and joining me today, and we'll talk some more soon. Take good care.